Hi everybody. So I have to tell you that this video came about in a very odd way. I had a topic in mind a few days ago, and I wasn't quite sure where I was going with it, so I wanted to think a bit more and realized that maybe I needed to go in a different direction. And when I was getting ready, I was going to write up a script because I wanted to make a little short, with the characters, and it makes it easy. You just copy and paste the right amount because they have to be filmed in very short segments. That was a lot of waving around, sorry. But then I got very clear direction that I shouldn't do a script, that I should just go section by section and see where it went. Well, it didn't go anywhere I had intended it would go. So I was receiving my guidance as I went and was kind of experiencing it as not of my own making eventually. So in the same way that you will be experiencing it. And it was very interesting, this shift that had taken place, the direction that was totally different from where I had intended to go and what was presented to me to learn from it. I'm hoping there's something for you in it also. Now, I do have to apologize. My energy level is very low. I've been struggling a bit in the last few days, and I couldn't even begin to cover the dark circles, so I just kind of said, oh, hell with it, They can just deal with me in my plain tired state, and really that's appropriate for this video because, as you will have already seen, but I haven't done yet, the title will have something to do with trappings. The trappings that we present to others to make a person or a situation appear a certain way. Now, we could say, isn't that the same as masks? But as you'll see, trappings are a little different than masks. And I'm not going to explain it any further than that because I'm not sure I have a good enough grasp on it, and I'll just let you come to your own conclusions. So I did the video last night. I had intended to do this part last night also, but I just was so pooped. And so I'm going to watch it again and then share how Spirit led me to some interesting discoveries about my own trappings. I'll be back after the video. Bye. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. This little short is made with avatars using text-to-speech technology, and at least at the price level that I can afford, the technology is not great. So the movement of the avatar mouths doesn't match necessarily what they are saying. And the only thing I could suggest is that maybe you look at it with a squint or back away from the screen so that you're not concentrating on the movement of the mouth so much and instead are just listening to the words. I would have it be better. I would have it be way closer to better if it were within my capability, but this is the technology that I have at my disposal, and it's the best that it can be because there aren't little tweaks I can do to the avatars, at least that I have learned. So just to be warned, squint or back away from the monitor if it bothers you that the mouth movement doesn't match the words. All right, I think we're ready to go this time.
Welcome. I am the director of the rewards program. I'm so happy to meet you all. You've gotten to a place in your lives where you now get to choose a perk, as they say, for the choices you've made and the actions you've taken. Isn't this exciting? We have a small group today, so let's take advantage of that and have you introduce yourselves.
My name is Bambi, and I was voted the most beautiful in high school. Men just adore me. I can wrap them around my little fingers because of my beauty and my special skills, if you know what I mean. For me, only the best will do. I can't wait to pick out my reward. I'll be looking for the biggest, brightest, flashiest reward there is, because that's what I deserve to match my worth.
Hello. My name is Martin. I've lived a lot of years and never been voted the most anything. I'm just a simple person with nothing all that special about me. I have even less to offer as I age, I suppose, but I do my best to be kind and loving. I'm grateful to be asked to come pick out a reward even though I can't really see what I've done in life to deserve one.
I'm Kyle, and I haven't done much in my life except be a kid. If I still get a reward for that, I'll take it. I can't see any reason I don't deserve it. A reward just for being who I am? Totally cool.
I'm Carlos. I have built myself up from having nothing, and now I am well known and rich as sin. I'm not sure you have anything good enough for me in that pile of reward boxes, but I'll play along. I have money and status. What else do I need?
I'm going to take you each individually into a more cozy and private room so you can choose your reward. The rest of you, please help yourself to coffee or tea, and we have a TV also you can watch if you'd like.
I see my reward already. That gold one. It's the biggest, the shiniest, the most special, like me. Hey, wait a minute. Is this a joke? The only thing in here is a doll that looks just like me.
You do seem to place a lot of importance on your beauty, and you have mentioned twice now something about being special. We've given you what you value, a reflection of you to treasure. Wrapping men around your little fingers would imply that you enjoy manipulating. This perfect replica of you is a very special doll, one of a kind, and it has limbs and a torso made for great flexibility that you can manipulate to your heart's content. Thank you for participating in our reward program. Enjoy your gift. Lucy will escort you out now.
Oh my. What is this? It looks like a check with no amount written in. Wait. There's a note. What in the world? It says my good work has been noted. I don't get it. What work? I haven't accomplished anything much. I'm a man who barely ventures out into a world any bigger than my neighborhood. I'm very confused by this.
Martin, you see yourself as not having contributed much to the world, and you see your value diminishing as you get older. What you don't see is how your age has brought wisdom no one else can share, and you freely offer that wisdom often to the kids in the neighborhood who know you always have an open door for them to enter. You are like a loving grandpa to the younger kids, and the older kids see you as that wise old dude who has saved them from messing up their lives by helping them see how their choices may be hurting them. We want you to have a comfortable life for the rest of your days. You won't ever again have to wonder if your electricity will be turned off. We also want you to have enough surplus to build that youth center you've often dreamed of, but dismissed because you know you have the heart for it but not the funds. You have changed the lives of many already, and we want you to be able to positively affect just as many more but without having to spend money on the kids that you need to feed yourself and cover your own bills. Your big, beautiful, loving heart is being rewarded, Martin. Thank you for all you have done and all you are yet to do. By the way, you don't have to head to the bus stop, Martin. We know you've been without a vehicle for quite some time and that's part of the reason you rarely leave the neighborhood, the long walk to the bus being hard on your body. You will see a car with a big bow on the hood. That's yours. Not only will it make life easier for you, but it will allow you also to leave that neighborhood of yours on occasion to share that wonderful elder magic with many others, when you feel the urge. You are a blessing to people just by being you, Martin.
Oh, I cannot wait to see what you have as a reward for me. A Maserati perhaps, or a vacation home in an exotic tropical paradise that I don't already have a home in? I'll take that box with the pine cones. Maybe it comes with a Santa Claus for me that will make all my wishes come true. Yeah, right. What is this? Why would you think I wanted a membership to a dating coach's program? I can have any woman I want. All I have to do is wave some money around and drop a name or two.
Carlos, you talk a good game, and I'm sure you have everybody snowed, maybe even convincing many of them that you're confident but arrogant as can be. But we are well aware of how tough your childhood was and that your wealth and status now were attained because you refused to ever go back to the kind of poverty you experienced as a child. We know of the wounds you have no intention of opening up again. But we also know that you're a good man under all that bravado who wonders why he can't find a good, loving partner to share in the abundance and stability you've brought your way through hard work. Yes, you can tempt women with your money and status, but you always end up disappointed when you discover they only want you for those things and not for who you really are. We want you to learn to share with others the real you so you will attract people into your life who will cherish you, not use you. It will take some work to let go of the act you've made your own, and we know it won't be easy to be vulnerable, but we have total confidence that you can make this change in your life just as you've transformed in other areas. Go with our love and with our confidence that you've got this.
Wow! Look at all those rad boxes! I don't know if I can pick. It's so much fun just imagining tearing into them and discovering treasure. I guess I'll take that one, the littlest one. It seems right for the littlest one of the group today. What does this mean? It's a certificate that says I am entitled to anything I can dream of being or having. Am I too young to understand what this means?
Kyle, you still see the wonder and magic in the world despite the challenges that have come your way. You haven't let any of the trauma take from you. You know your worth. You trust your instincts. You search for what will bring you joy, knowing instinctively that that is what life is all about, finding the joy in even the smallest things. If you can fend off the pressures people want to put on you to change because you remind them of what they've lost and can't summon again, you will have no limits to what you can accomplish. You will co-create a magnificent world for yourself. In the times when you might be tempted to quit reaching for the stars because you've let the opinions of others become too important, we want you to have this certificate to remind you that the only thing that can keep you small is you deciding to allow it. Go change the world, young man. Thank you to all of you who attended our rewards presentation. Perhaps you have seen that all the trappings people put on do not guarantee that what's on the inside always matches what's being shown on the outside. Is it time to assess whether the picture you are presenting to others conveys who you really are? Could you consider trusting that you are loved by the universe just as you are and that there are others who will be the same, who will love you still without any of the trappings?
Interesting, wasn't it? At least it was to me, since it kind of unfolded magically in front of me without me knowing what was going to happen next. So I do believe that each character has something to show me personally. There may be only one, or maybe all have something to share with you. As to Bambi, I have never felt that I was beautiful, nor that I have special skills, or that I want to manipulate men. If I have done so, it is because of my need to control and not because I set out to do that. So anyone seeing Bambi's character would probably think she's not a very nice person, that she would do that. Of course, you know I'm going to say we all come from our wounds, and this doesn't explore where Bambi might have developed her wounds or what they are. But what it does show, I think, is that no matter how beautiful the packaging, the exterior, the meat suit, as some people say, it doesn't always guarantee that the inside or the essence of the person is as beautiful as the packaging. Her trappings were her ability to manipulate men with her beauty and her special skills. So I can't really relate to Bambi in that way, but I certainly do understand that in her way, she used whatever means she had to convince herself that she had value because of the men she could attract. She didn't really have very high standards about ethical means of attracting them, but she was needing that outside validation, the validation of the men, to make her feel good about herself. No matter how much she told herself she was beautiful and special, she still had to have that validation. And I think that's something that many of us need. It just doesn't seem to be enough for us to tell ourselves we're just fine as we are. Most of us seek some kind of validation from others. And I don't know about you ladies that are watching this, but certainly when I have had something coming up with a man that I was interested in, I have gone out to buy new underwear or some new kind of makeup or something to add to the trappings, thinking that that was necessary. You know, it's all just a part of the journey. And eventually, we're supposed to learn that the people that really are meant to love us will love us without any of those trappings. But it's a tough one to accept along the way. So let's get Bambi out of the way. Next was Martin, the older gentleman, and I very much could relate to Martin because it is difficult for me to see my aging in the mirror and thinking that I have not accomplished anything really. You know, after becoming disabled, I just felt so useless. And right now I am trying to tell myself that I can be useful by offering some card readings in Etsy. It's not provoking any interest. I'm having to examine, am I afraid of succeeding? Do I block it somehow because of that? Or am I still not confident enough in my gifts that I'm worried I'm going to be called a fraud? You know, that's the way I am at this stage of the game, is I try to analyze everything about how I might be bringing something to the table that is blocking what I want. But what was nice about Martin's scenario is that it was pointed out he could bring wisdom to share with others that only could come from him. So that is a nice thing for me to hear, because though I may not be useful according to the norm of people working their asses off to, put food on the table, all that kind of stuff, I may still be useful because I have some things to share from my own experiences that only I can share. So I could relate to that. And also, he was very humble, but almost to an extreme. And I think I can be guilty of that too. And I think that I've met many people that are the same way. I'm not sure where it comes from, maybe childhood. Because children don't hesitate to say, "Did you see that, Mommy? I was fantastic." And there's a point then where the parents think, "Oh, we better put a stop to this." This pride that this child has may grow to be arrogance. And we get shut down at some point so that we think we cannot ever toot our own horn, as they say. It's one thing to be bragging all the time, but it's a whole other thing to just acknowledge that we have had something special happen in our lives, or that we have done something special, or that we're proud of ourselves for something. And it's a shame that it's been put on us that means we're arrogant or that we're bragging. It is just making note of something cool. And so I think that was a good lesson for me, and hopefully for some of you, that we can take being humble too far. We can be dimming our light, which is really what it is, by not wanting to err on the side of arrogance. It's not arrogance to share when we have accomplished something. It's not arrogance to be proud of who we are or what we've done. So there was a good lesson in that, about there being a certain point where humility is too much. And maybe people would judge that as negatively as they do arrogance. Oh, it must be an act. Too humble. We know he or she is cool, and they must just be acting like this to be even cooler. I hope that makes sense. I notice my eyes are like little slits, and I apologize. Where are the toothpicks? So then, Carlos. I actually can relate a lot to Carlos also, but not because I lived in poverty. It is his attachment to the material. In my case, I think that because I could not have my needs met emotionally, there was a point that I latched onto things to make up for that. And, up until post brain surgeries and losing almost everything because I had no career anymore, I would spend too much trying to find that sense of security. It's two different kinds of security, but it doesn't always click in our brains. And of course, there was the thing that I didn't think anyone would love me unless I was providing nice things for them. And then, I lost everything and had to come back again. Started to feel secure because I had accrued some things which equated to being safe and secure, and then boom, lost it all again. And the other thing that I've noticed as a trend is that each time I have moved, I have been brought to a smaller place so that I have to scale down on really what amounts to crap, craft stuff, books that never get read or that have been read and now are just gathering dust. Spirit has been slowly but surely, and sometimes quite shockingly, trying to teach me that accruing material things is not where happiness is, and neither is it where security is, because nothing really makes up for that lack of emotional support until we find it within ourselves. And I'm still working on that. I know that I'm better, but I'm certainly not where I need to be because I still wish I wasn't alone all the time. And that could be a whole other video as I say that, because there is this thing that we are a species that is meant to be in community. We're not all meant to be alone. We're meant to be social creatures. So I know there are people that would say, oh, you haven't done the personal work. You must not love yourself if you aren't okay with being alone. Well, people, I'm alone 99.9% of the time. I'm okay with it. And I am working this out in my head as I'm speaking, which is usually how it is, that diarrhea of the thoughts in the mouth when I get on camera, and thinking, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting some companionship. I don't think it means that we don't love ourselves enough. In a way, I think it means that we are starting to love ourselves enough that we want things that will enrich our lives. I don't think we're meant to be islands. Well, certainly I just went down the wrong path on that one. Let me get back on track. Carlos. So, Carlos was full of bullshit, really. Talking about how much money he had and how much status he had and how he could get any woman he wanted, but he was lacking a satisfying relationship. And, maybe he didn't equate that the way he presented himself was kind of like me when I thought that I had to shower my family with gifts and things they wanted or I couldn't be loved. So that's how I can relate to Carlos, and I think probably some of you can also. we can get so screwed up in our childhoods and go into our adulthoods with these ideas that really are not very strong on their foundation. Carlos was a very decent guy, but because his possessions and his status had become so important to him, had become how he saw his value, he oversold himself and probably alienated many people, and never would have admitted that love was what he craved, probably even to himself. You know, his trappings were obvious, but they weren't allowing people to see who he really was. A decent man who wanted companionship, partnership, love, just like everyone else does. And then we get to Kyle, the little boy. It was obvious from what was brought up that Kyle had had trauma in his childhood, but he still knew his worth. And I have to say kudos to Kyle. I didn't have that same good result. And I don't think that when Spirit presented it that way, it was meant as any judgment that some of us are really screwed up for many, many decades. It was just an example. I think that if we can somehow get to that way of thinking that children think before they are knocked down by their parents, we will just naturally assume that we deserve whatever the universe has to give us. Deserve the good stuff, not the bad stuff. Somehow we have to get to that way that well-adjusted children think, which is, I'm awesome. I don't mind sharing what I do. I don't mind showing who I am. I deserve whatever good things come to me. Cool. So that's really all I have to share. I think that is my reactions. And it may seem weird because you're thinking, well, she made this video. Why is she acting like these are aha moments? Well, that's just how it works with me. I am allowed to have this information pop into my head, and it's sometimes hard to know what's mine and what comes from Spirit. But with this one, there was no question, because like I said, it just went in a whole other direction and brought a lot of aha moments for me. I hope that you found some aha moments yourself. And if not, thank you for getting this far despite that. I do appreciate all of you who come by and watch my videos. I know that they are a little odd, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being different. And any of you that would throw in a thumbs up or care to subscribe to the channel, I would be extremely grateful. Thank you so much. Take care.